A dark shadow moved across the stars. It wasn't a comet or a planet. It was something built, not born. A massive ship, longer than a mountain range, drifted silently into Earth's orbit. From the ground, people could not see it. Not yet. But it watched everything. Inside the ship, creatures stood tall and proud. They were called the Tyrak. Cold, armored, and full of pride, they ruled 1,000 worlds. Their empire stretched across galaxies, and now they had come to Earth. To them, humans were just another race to conquer, another small world to bend, under their will. A message beamed down to Earth. It wasn't spoken in any human language, but the machines translated it quickly. Every major city received it at once. Screens flashed, phones buzzed, buildings lit up with emergency alerts. The Yao message was short. This is the Tyrak Empire. You will kneel. You will give tribute. 1/3 of your planet's resources will belong to us. Refuse, and Earth will burn. Panic spread like wildfire. News channels tried to explain. Was it a prank? A new kind of cyber attack? But then, something happened that ended all doubt. Within seconds of the message, 20 satellites disappeared from the sky. Not destroyed. Erased. Nothing remained. Just silence. And then, one more message followed. This was only a whisper. Next will be your cities. The world froze. In underground bunkers, military leaders met in secret. Some wanted to surrender. Others wanted to fight. But no one knew what kind of power the Tyrak had. Earth was not united. Old rivalries remained. Borders still mattered. Until now. A group of generals gathered in a hidden room beneath the Rocky Mountains. On the screen before them, the image of the Tyrak ship was clear. It was real. Alive. Moving. No weapon on Earth could reach it. And yet one man in the room smiled. General Isaac Rhodes was old, sharp, and quiet. He had seen wars, real ones. He had read the files no one else saw, files buried under decades of silence. He stood slowly and spoke just 2 words. It's time. No one understood at first. Then he pressed a small black button. Across the planet, in places no one remembered, old machines came alive. In the Pacific Ocean, a massive underwater door opened for the first time in 100 years. Something large, something ancient began to rise. While panic covered the world, something else was happening behind the curtain. A project once shut down by world governments was moving again. It was called Project Iron Sky. A secret effort to build something not just for defense, but for vengeance. Back in orbit, the Tyrak ship waited. They had seen this before. Many planets had tried to resist. All of them had failed. Some lasted days, some lasted hours. But all had burned. The Tyrak commander, Lord Viren, stood on the bridge and watched Earth. He didn't fear these humans. To him, they were nothing but insects. But something was strange. The usual fear wasn't there. The signals from Earth were not the same as other conquered planets. There was no begging, no desperate surrender, only silence. That silence was louder than any scream. In a city near the equator, a young boy named Sam watched the sky. He didn't understand everything, but he knew something was wrong. His father was a pilot in the Air Force. That morning, he had hugged Sam tightly and whispered, "Be brave, no matter what happens, be brave." Sam looked up and saw a strange light blink across the sky. He pointed. Others looked up too. And then the world changed. From the ocean, something enormous broke the surface. Waves rose like walls. Birds flew in every direction. At first, it looked like a mountain rising from the sea. But then lights blinked on its surface. Cannons moved. Engines roared. And it rose higher, climbing into the air like a giant made of metal. The dreadnought Valiant had returned. Built long ago, before humans ever reached Mars, the Valiant was Earth's secret. A warship like no other. Too dangerous to use. Too powerful to destroy. So it was hidden, buried, and forgotten. Until now. General Rhodes watched as the ship's systems came online. The AI named Aire spoke for the first time in decades. Commander confirmed. All systems active, awaiting orders. He gave one. Send the message. The Valiant aimed a thin beam of energy toward the Tyrak ship. It wasn't a weapon. It was a message. This is Earth. We are not your tribute. Leave now or be removed. On the Tyrak ship, Lord Viren's smile faded. No one had ever spoken to them like that. Ever. He stood slowly and stared at the screen. Bring the fleet, he said coldly. Back on Earth, the people still didn't know what was happening. But rumors spread, videos leaked. A strange ship had appeared in the sky. Some believed it was alien, others said it was human. But one thing was clear, the fight hadn't started yet. In space, thousands of Tyrak ships began moving toward Earth. Not in peace, in force. They believed Earth would break like all the others. They were wrong, because humans are different. They don't always agree, they argue, they fight, they fall. But when the storm comes, they rise together. Old enemies called each other. Borders were ignored. Military forces from every country shared data, power, and control. Satellites were rebuilt. Communications were linked. The nations of Earth, for the first time, stood as one. In the cold dark above the world, two ships faced each other. One was born from pride and conquest, the other from fear and pain. But one thing connected them both: war. General Rhodes stood on the command bridge of the Valiant. He watched the enemy fleet arrive. Dozens, then hundreds, of ships. Lights filled the darkness like stars. But he didn't blink. He leaned forward and said quietly, "Let them come." The Tyrak sent one final message. It was short. "This is your last chance." Earth didn't respond with words. The Valiant moved forward. Sam, the young boy, watched all of it from a small screen in his living room. He didn't understand the politics or the history, but he felt something stir inside him. Pride, fear, hope. He whispered to himself, "Don't stop." The people of Earth didn't run. They didn't beg. They prepared. In the hidden depths of Antarctica, another old vault opened. Inside were designs for weapons never used, technologies too dangerous for peace. Now they were active. On the moon, scientists raced to turn old mining equipment into defense towers. In low orbit, stealth drones began surrounding the planet, invisible to most sensors. Earth's defense net wasn't perfect, but it was growing. Inside the Valiant, the AI spoke again. Enemy ships entering attack range. Estimated battle start: 3 hours. General Rhodes stared at the screen. His heart beat slower, not faster. He had waited his whole life for this. "Let them see," he said. "Let them see who we are." The Tyrak Empire had made a mistake. They thought Earth was like the others. But Earth was not soft. Earth was not weak. Earth had waited too long, and now Earth was ready. The stars would soon witness something new. Not surrender. Not silence, but resistance. And the first shot was about to be fired. A clear warning had been sent from Earth to the Tyrak Empire. The message was simple and firm. Earth would not give tribute. Instead of fear, the reply carried strength and a promise. Leave now or face the consequences. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The Tyrak fleet, vast and powerful, moved steadily closer to Earth. Their ships were like great shadows crossing the black sea of space. Each vessel was covered in cold metal plates and bristling with weapons designed to crush any opposition. The Tyrak commanders believed that Earth's refusal was just a bluff. They had seen countless worlds surrender, giving up without a fight. Earth, they thought, would be no different, but they had not met humans before. Within the secret walls of Earth's hidden bases, the air was tense, but alive with determination. Soldiers and scientists worked side by side. The greatest minds on Earth had joined Project Iron Sky. Their goal was clear: to awaken the sleeping giant buried beneath the waves. The dreadnought Valiant, a ship built long ago in times of great fear, was coming alive once again. In a deep underground chamber, General Rhodes stood before a large screen. The image showed the outer reaches of the solar system, where scouts from the Tyrak fleet moved like wolves searching for prey. Rhodes' face was calm, but inside, a storm of thoughts raced. He remembered stories from old wars, lessons from history and the sacrifices made by millions. He knew what was at stake. The countdown to battle was already running. On Earth's surface, the world watched with a mixture of hope and fear. Citizens in every country gathered around screens and radios. News spread of the strange and powerful ship rising from the ocean. People called it a guardian, a protector, a sign that Earth would fight back. In the cold silence of space, a tiny signal burst from the dreadnought. It was fast and sharp, like the crack of a whip. The signal found a Tyrak scout ship drifting, near Jupiter. In an instant, the scout system shut down. It drifted helplessly, then vanished from all sensors. The message was clear. Earth was not defenseless. On the Tyrak command bridge, Lord Viren's brow tightened. His eyes, cold and sharp, stared at the screens. He did not expect this resistance. For the first time, doubt crept into his mind. He had to think fast. He called his commanders and spoke with urgency. "Prepare the fleet. We will show Earth the power of the Tyrak, but be careful. Something about these humans. It is different." Back on Earth, engineers raced to ready the Valiant. Its massive engines hummed to life, filling the underground halls with a steady vibration. The ship's AI, ARA, tested every system: shields, weapons, navigation. Each test passed with precision. Era's voice was calm and clear. All systems functioning at full capacity, awaiting final orders. General Rhodes gave a small nod. "We fight for Earth's future. Begin the defense protocol." At the same time, human fleets hidden in Noi orbit began to assemble. Old satellites were repaired and upgraded. New ships built in secret hangars joined the formation. Earth was no longer alone. From small fighter crafts to huge carriers, the fleet was a mix of old and new. Each ship crewed by brave men and women ready to protect their home. They had trained for this moment, but nothing could fully prepare them for the battle ahead. In one training room, a young pilot named Maya checked her ship's controls. Her hands trembled slightly, but her eyes shone with determination. She had dreamed of flying beyond Earth since she was a child. Now that dream was a mission to defend her family and everyone she loved. The skies over Earth darkened as the Tyrak fleet came closer. Their ships formed lines that stretched farther than the eye could see. The stars were blocked by metal and fire. The first clash was about to begin. In the distance, small skirmishes broke out. Fighter ships darted between massive cruisers. Energy beams flashed like lightning and explosions lit the blackness. Earth's ships fought fiercely, using every trick and tactic they had. Despite the overwhelming size of the Tyrak fleet, Earth's defenders surprised their enemy. They moved quickly, striking weak points and avoiding traps. Communication was fast and clear. Every pilot, every soldier knew their role. As the battle grew, something unexpected happened. Other alien races watched from afar. Many had suffered under the Tyrak Empire's rule. Some had given up hope, but now they saw Earth fighting back. A spark of courage spread through the galaxy. On the Valiant, General Rhodes prepared to join the fight, personally. He knew the dreadnought was more than just a ship. It was a symbol of Earth's spirit, a warning that humans would not bow. He looked at the glowing panels around him and whispered, "Show them who we are." The battle raged for hours. Neither side gave ground easily. The Tyrak fleet was powerful, but Earth's resolve was stronger. Ships exploded and debris floated in space like stars fallen from the sky. Maya's fighter was hit. Alarms blared inside her cockpit, but she held steady, pulling her ship out of danger. Her squadron covered her retreat, moving as one. It was not just a fight for survival, it was a fight for hope. Back on Earth, people watched the news with bated breath. They cheered for every victory and mourned every loss. But above all, they believed. They believed that Earth could stand against the greatest empire in the galaxy. The night sky was filled with fire and shadow, but beneath it all, a promise was made. Earth would not kneel, Earth would fight, and Earth would survive. The stars above Earth flickered with distant light, but a new kind of light began to blaze, a light born of resistance and hope. The battle had already begun, yet the true test was only starting. The Tyrak fleet, enormous and relentless, pushed closer, determined to force Earth's surrender. But the defenders of Earth had more than ships and weapons. They had a spirit no conqueror could easily break. General Rhodes stood firm on the bridge of the Valiant, the massive ship humming beneath his feet like a living heart. Around him, screens displayed incoming data from every sensor, every camera, every scout in the vast battle space. Reports of skirmishes, evasions, and narrow escapes poured in. The enemy was strong, but Earth's forces were sharper, faster, and braver than expected. In a small control room deep inside the Valiant, ARA, the ship's AI, worked without pause. Its calm voice cut through the tense atmosphere. Enemy formations detected approaching from Vector 7-2. Estimated arrival in 6 minutes. Defensive measures are being adjusted. Rhodes nodded without looking away from the main display. Prepare all defenses. Focus on protecting Earth's orbit. We cannot allow them to break through. Far below, the surface of the planet, cities held their breath. People gathered with loved ones watching live feeds of the battle in space. Among them was a young woman named Lena, a communications officer coordinating between Earth's fleet and ground forces. Her hands trembled slightly as she relayed information, but her voice was steady. "Hold the line," she whispered. "We're stronger together." As the Tyrak fleet pressed forward, they unleashed a new tactic, sending small groups of scout ships to slip through Earth's defenses. These ships were fast and difficult to track, but Earth's pilots were ready. Fighter squadrons formed tight groups, darting like lightning to intercept the intruders. Maya, the young pilot from the previous fight, took the lead in one such squadron. Her ship moved with skill and grace, weaving through space debris and enemy fire. She knew every move counted. One mistake could mean losing a friend or more. Suddenly, Maya's radar picked up an unusual signal. It was faint but different from the Tyrak ships. A tiny craft appeared, barely visible, but it carried a message. It was from an alien race long thought extinct, refugees who had escaped the Tyrak Empire's rule. The message was simple and hopeful. "We stand with Earth." This unexpected support sparked a wave of relief and courage among Earth's defenders. It meant that the fight was bigger than just one planet. Others who had suffered under the Tyrak yoke were ready to rise. The galaxy was waking. Back on the Valiant, General Rhodes listened carefully as his officers discussed the new intelligence. It was clear the Tyrak were growing desperate. Their strategy was shifting from overwhelming force to surprise and infiltration. Rhodes made a decision. "We will use their desperation against them." ARA confirmed, tactical advantage detected, initiating countermeasures. Earth's forces began a new phase of battle. Instead of waiting to defend, they launched swift and precise strikes against Tyrak supply lines and communication networks. Small teams of pilots, scientists, and engineers worked together to disrupt the enemy's plans. In one daring mission, Maya's squadron infiltrated a Tyrak supply convoy. The convoy was moving quietly, believing it was safe, but Earth's fighters appeared like shadows, disabling key ships without causing unnecessary damage. The convoy was scattered, their supplies delayed. The Tyrak commanders were forced to adjust plans yet again. Meanwhile, on the ground, Lena received another message. It came from a secret network of scientists who had discovered something incredible beneath Earth's crust. Ancient technology, left behind by a civilization older than humanity itself. The technology had been dormant, waiting for a moment like this. Lena's eyes widened as she realized the importance. If Earth could unlock its secrets, it could change the course of the war. She immediately sent the information to General Rhodes. Rhodes stood silently for a moment, absorbing the news. "Prepare to integrate the technology into the Valiant's systems. If this works, It could give us the edge we need. Aara began the process, analyzing and adapting the ancient technology into the ship's defense and communication systems. The Tyrak fleet noticed the change. Their attacks, once swift and coordinated, began to falter. Signals were jammed. Their ships moved slower, as if caught in an invisible web. This new advantage did not go unnoticed in the halls of the Tyrak Empire. Lord Viren's patience was thinning. His voice echoed with frustration, but also a hint of respect. These humans fight unlike any we have seen. They are more than simple prey. We must prepare for the long game. On Earth, the people watched as the tides of battle shifted. Every victory, no matter how small, gave hope to millions. And yet, they knew the war was far from over. In a quiet moment aboard the Valiant, General Rhodes looked out into the vastness of space. He thought about Earth, its people, and the future. He whispered, "This is just the beginning." The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, as if acknowledging the promise. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, the silent watchers waited for what Earth would do next. The tension in space was thick as Earth's defenses held firm against the advancing Tyrak fleet. But beyond the immediate battles, something more important was unfolding. Earth was learning to fight in ways no one had expected. The war was not just about ships and weapons, it was about knowledge, courage, and unity. General Rhodes paced the command deck of the Valiant, his eyes tracing the patterns on the holographic map. The Tyrak forces had grown cautious. They were testing Earth's limits, probing for weaknesses, but Earth's leaders were ready to respond with something new. In the labs beneath the surface, scientists worked tirelessly. The ancient technology, discovered earlier, was beginning to reveal its secrets. It was unlike anything modern science had seen, powerful, efficient, and strangely familiar. The team was decoding symbols and blueprints, unlocking energy sources that could change the course of the war. Lena, the communications officer, received word that the technology could enhance Earth's shield systems and create new ways to disrupt enemy signals. This meant Earth could protect its cities better and confuse the Tyrak fleet, making it harder for them to coordinate attacks. The news brought fresh energy to the command center. Rhodes knew this advantage was critical. He ordered the integration of the new tech to begin immediately. At the same time, Maya and her squadron trained harder than ever. Each pilot knew that their role was not only to defend, but to learn the enemy's moves. They practiced new maneuvers, used simulators to anticipate Tyrak strategies, and prepared for the unexpected. One evening, Maya sat quietly in the hangar watching the stars. The weight of responsibility pressed on her, but she felt a fire inside, a determination to protect Earth and prove humanity's strength. Suddenly, a message came through her. "Commander, prepare for a special mission. Details incoming." The mission was unlike any before. Maya and a small team were to pilot stealth ships, unseen by enemy sensors, to gather information deep inside Tyrak territory. The goal was to learn about their plans and find ways to stop them without direct confrontation. As the team prepared, General Rhodes reviewed the risks. "This mission is dangerous," he said, "but it could give us the edge we need. Remember, knowledge is power." Meanwhile, the Tyrak Empire was not idle. Lord Viren gathered his council, discussing Earth's unexpected resilience. The ancient technology on Earth troubled them. "If the humans control that power, we face defeat," he warned. His advisors nodded, realizing they had underestimated their opponent. The Tyrak began sending spies and small strike teams to disrupt Earth's scientific efforts. But Earth's defenders were vigilant. Lena coordinated the networks, intercepting messages and turning enemy plans against them. The stealth mission led by Maya was tense. Flying deep into enemy space, the small ships moved like shadows between stars. Every moment was filled with uncertainty. Would they be detected? Could they return with valuable information? Maya's heart pounded as they approached a massive Tyrak communications array. It was their target. Using the new technology from Earth, they created a signal jammer that temporarily disabled the array. This allowed them to gather critical intelligence on the Tyrak fleet movements and strategies. Returning to Earth, the team was greeted with relief and hope. Their success meant Earth's forces could better prepare for future attacks. The battle was far from over, but now the balance was shifting. Back on the Valiant, General Rhodes looked at the new data. "This is the turning point," he said. "We will not only defend Earth but push back." As Earth's forces repaired, upgraded, and strengthened, the message was clear. The Tyrak Empire had met its match. In cities around the world, people celebrated quietly but firmly. They had witnessed courage and innovation. The fight was more than a battle. It was a story of survival and hope. Underneath it all, Maya, Lena, Rhodes, and countless others knew one truth. The greatest battles were still ahead. But Earth was ready. The stars held their breath once more, waiting to see how far humanity would go. The calm after a storm often hides the greatest challenges. Earth's skies, still scarred from recent battles, shimmered with uneasy quiet. But beneath that silence, preparations were in full force. The Tyrak Empire had retreated for now, but their shadow lingered, reminding humanity that peace was fragile and fleeting. General Rhodes stood on the observation deck of the Valiant, gazing at the planet below. Cities sparkled like jewels against the dark, fragile yet alive with hope. He felt the weight of leadership heavy on his shoulders. The coming days would decide more than just battles. They would shape the future of Earth and all who called it home. Meanwhile, Lena coordinated with Earth's global defense networks. The integration of ancient technology had transformed their communication and defense systems. Now, signals moved faster and more securely, allowing for rapid coordination. Her fingers flew over the controls, linking pilots, scientists, and ground forces in a seamless web. Yet, with every success, new questions arose. What was the origin of this ancient power? How had it remained hidden for so long? And could it be trusted? Maya, freshly returned from the stealth mission, found herself in a different kind of battle. One of discovery. The information they had gathered was vast, pointing to secret Tyrak bases hidden deep within asteroid fields and dark nebulae. These bases were hubs for ship repair, resource gathering, and planning. Rhodes decided that Earth's next move had to be bold. Instead of waiting for the Tyrak to strike again, they would take the fight to these hidden strongholds. It was a risk, but one they had to take. In the quiet hum of the Valiant, Maya met with her squadron. "We're not just defending Earth anymore," she said, her voice steady. "We're showing the Tyrak that their empire isn't safe. Their shadows don't stretch as far as they think." The squadron nodded, ready for the challenge. The mission was carefully planned. Using the enhanced stealth technology, Earth's ships slipped through asteroid belts, evading patrols and sensors. They moved like ghosts, silent and unseen. Their goal was to disable the enemy's supply lines, cutting off fuel and materials vital for the Tyrak fleet. As they approached the first hidden base, a massive structure clung to a rocky asteroid surrounded by a swirling field of debris. Maya's heart raced. This was the heart of the Tyrak's operations in this sector. ARA, the Valiant's AI, provided constant updates. Enemy defenses detected. Active shield systems at 70%. Estimated response time, 5 minutes. Maya gave the order. "All ships maintain stealth mode. Deploy electronic disruption pods." The pods drifted silently toward the base, emitting pulses that scrambled communications and sensor arrays. Slowly, the shields flickered and dropped. With shields down, the Earth fleet targeted supply ships docked around the asteroid. Precision strikes disabled engines and communications, causing chaos among the enemy ranks. Without supplies, the Tyrak forces in this area would be forced to retreat or face serious setbacks. The mission was a success, but the danger was far from over. As they withdrew, Maya noticed unusual readings. A hidden signal pulsed from within the asteroid, an encrypted message unlike anything the Tyrak had used before. Lena worked quickly to decrypt it. The message was a warning from a secret faction within the Tyrak Empire, those who opposed the endless wars and sought peace. They offered a chance for dialogue, a possibility to end the conflict without more destruction. General Rhodes was cautious but intrigued. Could this be a turning point or a trap? He convened his commanders. "We must consider all options. Our priority is Earth's safety, but we must not close the door to peace. Meanwhile, Earth scientists made breakthroughs with the ancient technology. They discovered it could not only power ships and weapons, but also heal environments and purify resources. It was a gift and a responsibility. The people of Earth watched these events unfold with a mixture of hope and anxiety. The war was no longer a distant threat but a constant presence. Yet the courage of a few inspired the many. Maya looked up at the stars from her ship's cockpit. The future was uncertain, but for the first time, she felt that humanity was not alone. Allies might be hidden in the most unexpected places. The silent watchers in the galaxy stirred once more, their eyes on Earth's unfolding story, and somewhere deep inside the Tyrak Empire, a quiet revolution began. The stars hung like silent witnesses as Earth stood at a crossroads. The war with the Tyrak Empire had stretched across months, shaking the foundations of every city and heart. Yet, in this vast darkness, a new light was beginning to shine, a fragile hope woven through courage, wisdom, and unexpected allies. General. Rhodes stood quietly on the deck of the Valiant, watching the gentle glow of Earth below. The ancient technology, now fully integrated, pulsed softly through the ship's systems. It was a reminder of how far they had come, from being hunted to standing tall. But the real challenge was ahead. Could peace be found where war had long ruled? The message from the secret Tyrak faction had sparked intense debate. Could enemies truly seek peace after so much pain? Rhodes believed that sometimes understanding was the strongest weapon. A team of diplomats and scientists prepared to make contact, ready to meet the faction under a neutral star system. Lena coordinated the delicate communications, ensuring every detail was perfect. The mission was risky. One wrong move could reignite the flames of war, but the potential reward was too great to ignore. Maya, now a seasoned pilot, led the escort for the diplomatic ship. Her squadron was silent and watchful, a shield against danger yet hopeful for a new future. As the ships traveled through the quiet void, the tension was palpable. No one knew what awaited them, but Earth's representatives carried a message of hope and strength, forged in the fires of battle. The meeting point was a small, uncharted planet bathed in soft blue light. As the two sides came together, the air seemed to hold its breath. The Tyrak diplomats appeared cautious but sincere, their eyes showing a mix of fear and longing. The discussions were slow and careful. Words were chosen with care, bridges built with patience. Stories were shared of loss, survival, and dreams for a better future. General Rhodes listened, heart steady but open. He saw in the Tyrak delegation faces shaped by years of war and pain, yet eager to find a new path. The breakthrough came when both sides agreed on a shared goal: to end the cycle of fear and build a future where no world would live under the shadow of an empire. Back on Earth, news of the negotiations spread quietly but widely. People hoped but remained cautious. After all, peace was a fragile thing. Meanwhile, Earth scientists continued to unlock the secrets of the ancient technology. They discovered it could heal damaged ecosystems, restore lost resources, and create energy without harm. It was more than a weapon. It was a key to renewal. Maya returned to the Valiant, feeling a deep sense of purpose. She knew the battle was not just in space but in hearts and minds. The bravery to change, to forgive, was the greatest strength of all. As the talks continued, small steps were taken: trade, routes reopened, prisoner exchanges arranged, and cultural messages shared. The Tyrak Empire began to change, not as conquerors but as partners. Yet both sides understood the road ahead was long and uncertain. Trust was built slowly, like the fragile wings of a newborn bird learning to fly. In quiet moments, Rhodes looked up at the stars and whispered, "This is what we fight for, a future where hope shines brighter than fear." The galaxy watched, and in that watchful silence, a new story began, a story of unity, resilience, and the power to choose peace over war. Earth had sent its warning, not as a threat, but as a promise. Flee or face the future united. And this time, the future was theirs to write.